Hi guys, Speed Reels is here. Today I will show you a 2019 thriller, comedy and superhero movie titled Shazam. Take your seats, the movie is about to begin. In 1974, a young Thaddeus Savannah, popularly called Thad, and his older brother were being driven home by their father. While playing with his magic 8-ball, his father and brother taunted him, and his brother seized the ball. When his brother returned the ball, Thad discovered that the ball was starting to act somehow, and he thought that his brother had damaged the ball. He wanted to accuse his brother, but when he looked up, he discovered that his father and brother had somehow disappeared from inside the car. Suddenly, the car started moving fast and thick fog covered the car's windows. Later, the car stopped, and Thad came out, only to discover something. Thad had been magically transported to somewhere strange called the Rock of Eternity, where he met a wizard, who introduced him to the mystical statues containing the spirits of the 7 deadly sins: pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. The last of a council of 7, the wizard had spent centuries searching for a new champion, and he had felt Thad would be one. The wizard put him to a test to see if he was pure of heart, but acting on the voices of the deadly sins, Thad attempted to touch a blazing ball, failing the test. The wizard was angry and told Thad that he would never be qualified to be his champion. Thad was then transported back to the car, and he caused a scene because he wanted to return to the magical place. His struggling with his brother caused his father to almost hit an oncoming truck, but they luckily avoided it. Unfortunately, just as his father was scolding him for almost getting them killed, their car was hit by another vehicle, and his father almost died in the accident. After the accident, Thad's brother was accusing him of causing it when he saw the magic 8-ball showing Find Us. A few years before modern day, a small boy named Billy was at a park with his mother, who played darts in vain to get a tiger. Afterwards, Billy lost a pendant ball he had and chased after it, separating from his mother. Unfortunately, he became lost and couldn't find his mother, so he was picked up by the police, who then got him to a foster home since his mother was nowhere to be found. In present-day Philadelphia, Billy Batson lured and trapped police officers into a pawn shop, using their computers in the hopes of searching for the address of his long-lost mother. He had tried many addresses previously, but he had ended up being disappointed. After he got another address from the police computer, he traveled to the address, but again, he was left disappointed. He was then taken by the police and taken to a social services worker, who scolded him for running away from 6 previous homes because he was looking for a mother that didn't want him. She revealed that he had been to the houses of 73 Batsons but had been unable to find his mom. She then told him that a new couple was there to adopt him and that they ran a group home. The couple were Rosa and Victor Vasques, who tried to assure Billy that they had once been foster kids too, so they understood him. The Vasquezes had adopted other kids too, and they ran a foster home. The other kids were Eugene, who was a game freak, Darla, who was friendly with Billy, Mary, who was trying to get into college, Pedro, who pretended like he didn't see Billy, and Freddie, who was going to be Billy's roommate and used a walking aid. In the office building of Savannah Industries, a woman was telling a doctor about her experience that was similar to that of Thad's, and she said she had a video of how it started. Thad, who had been hidden to the woman, then came out and asked her to share the video, which she did. Thad then rushed into his office after watching the video with the doctor behind him. They had been interviewing people with similar experiences over the years under the disguise of a mass hysteria project. Thad had wanted to get back to the magical world since his experience, and he had been looking for ways to get back, although he had not revealed that to the doctor. In the woman's video, he discovered that he had been right about the symbols and the sequence, but what he had not known was that the sequence was repeated 7 times, which the woman's video showed him. When the puzzled doctor questioned Thad about it, she unfortunately banged on the door where Thad had written the symbols and turned to dust immediately. Thad then used the door to access the magical world and confronted the wizard. He condemned the wizard for telling him he would never be good enough when he was a boy, and he went ahead to take the blazing ball, thus unleashing the 7 deadly sins. The 7 deadly sins overpowered the wizard and turned into an eye and latched it into Thad's right eye. After school, while the foster children were going home, 2 bullies drove a car and hit Freddie. They then started to beat him up, and Billy, who didn't want anything to do with the foster children, turned his back and started to walk away until he heard one of the bullies abusing Freddie for not having a mother. This triggered Billy, and he went back to the bullies and hit them with Freddie's walking stick. However, he wasn't strong enough to defeat them, and he fled to the subway to avoid them. While on the train, the magical symbols appeared and Billy was transported to the Rock of Eternity. He met the wizard, and the wizard told him about the powers he had. The wizard revealed that the powers had previously been given to someone else, but had turned evil and released the 7 deadly sins, killing numerous people. The wizard then told him he had been searching for someone who possessed a pure heart, leading him to search for millennia. Billy said he didn't possess the characteristics the wizard wanted, but the wizard still chose him. The wizard asked Billy to hold his staff and say his name, Shazam. Billy says the word, and transforms into the champion Shazam, and the wizard disappeared. Billy returned to Philadelphia and went back to the foster home where he somehow managed to call Freddy to meet him outside the house after dark, as he had been unable to change back to Billy. When Freddy came to meet him, he convinced Freddy he was Billy by showing him a bullet he had stolen from him earlier. He told Freddy he needed his help since he was the one that knew about superheroes. Billy and Fred then tried testing all the abilities, and they discovered he had the powers of lightning, super speed, and strength. They entered a store to buy beer since Billy had transformed into a grown man, but while in the shop, armed robbers came to rob the shop, and Billy went to stop them, which made him discover that he also had immunity to bullets. At Savannah Industries, Thad Savannah barged into a corporate meeting hosted by his brother and father, who had lost their legs in the accident of the night in 1974. A confrontation between the siblings results in Savannah throwing their brother out of the window and showing off the sins in his eyes, slaughtering everyone in the room, including his father. The sins then revealed to him that there was a new champion and Thad had to defeat the champion to become the most powerful. Freddy posts videos of Shazam's powers going viral. Freddy and Billy skip school when the security wouldn't allow them to pass without a parent showing up. Billy transforms into Shazam to check them out. When they left, they got around to testing fire immunity, flight, and strength. Happy, they walk through a mall where they use the lightning ability to charge people's cell phones, get sodas for free, and attempt to purchase a lair from a real estate agent. Billy later went into a strip club and later came and told Freddy that he needed more money. They go to an ATM, zapping it and taking some of the money, using it to buy lots of things for their room. The next day at school, the bullies begin to mess with Freddy and Billy again until Freddy tells them he knows the new hero, Red Cyclone. They didn't believe him, but he promised them that he'd get him to show up to lunch the next day. Freddy and Billy then get into a bit of an argument over him just assuming and trying to use Billy for his powers. That night at dinner, the father asks the family what they think of the new hero, and everyone gives input. But Freddy takes a dig at the hero and then him and Billy get into a bit of an argument, leaving the rest of the family confused. At school the next day, Billy decides not to attend school because he didn't feel like he needed school again, despite Freddy's asking for him to show up at lunch because of the promise he made to the bullies. Shazam does various things, like taking selfies and showing off lightning for money. He sees and saves Mary from being hit by a car, and talking to her makes him realize she is upset. She is upset that because of college, she will have to leave her family. Shazam accidentally reveals he knew her name and housing situation, but leaves after telling her she shouldn't give up on her dreams because of people that don't care about her. Freddy was humiliated at lunch and after school. He went to find Shazam and tried to talk to him, but Shazam tried to defuse his complaints and continued to display his powers, shooting light that hit the tires of a bus across the city, sending it off the side of the bridge. Luckily, he caught the bus and put it on the concrete, only to be told by Freddy that he's not using his powers correctly. Hearing the commotion, Thad Savannah showed up and demanded the powers that Shazam possessed. Shazam underrated him and Thad punched and threw him around, with Shazam eventually landing in a mall, eventually discovering his ability to fly. Thad hunts him down, but Shazam quickly transformed back into Billy and escaped. Freddy, who then came into the mall, was taken hostage by Thad, after seeing him talking to Shazam on TV and demanding to be taken to Billy. Billy went back to the foster home, and his siblings came to meet him. They had discovered that he was Shazam after they saw a video of him and Freddy on the TV. Billy saw his old journal with them and asked why they had it. They revealed that Eugene had discovered where his mother was and she was only 2 subway stops away. Billy rushed out of the house, with his foster parents following behind. Sometimes later, Thad shows up with Freddy and traps the children. Billy arrives at his mother's apartment complex. His mother informs Billy that he was intentionally abandoned on that day and saw him with the police and that he would be better cared for by others since she was 17. Controlling his emotions in the face of the heartbreaking reality that his stubborn, years-long search for his mother was for nothing, Billy quietly reassures his mother that he is fine, but he has to return to his real family. However, Billy gives his mother the keychain compass she gave him years ago with a comment mixed with regret, resentment, and understanding about her: "You might need it more than me." Leaving, he receives a call from Thad, who tells him to come home. Billy jumps off the apartment building, transforms into Shazam, and flies home. Shazam decided to give up the power to save his family, and Thad opened a magical door to the Rock of Eternity. Taking the wizard's staff, Thad unleashes the 7 deadly sins. The siblings enter the cave and distract Thad long enough for Shazam to throw him somewhere to give them some time to escape into a park through Shazam's powers. Thad and the sins attack the park, shooting at a Ferris wheel and almost tipping it over. Thad and Shazam fought all around the park. Thad tried to get Shazam to surrender his power, but Shazam had another idea. Getting a hold of the wizard's stick, Shazam and his family yell his name, and he transmits his power to his family, transforming them into the Shazam family, each an adult superhero. Each of them fought with one sin, while Shazam engaged with Thad while flying through skyscrapers. As the Ferris wheel goes to tip over, Freddy flies in and saves the last two people on it, the bullies. Shazam and Thad end up on a rooftop, and Shazam goads the one deadly sin that remains, envy. It rips itself out of Savannah's eye and Shazam yells Shazam, hurting it. As a result, Thad is left powerless and is knocked off the roof. Shazam grabbed Thad and drags him to the park, ripping the magical eye out and taking the 7 sins away from him. In saving the day, the Shazam family basks in the cheers of the crowd, takes the eye back to the lair, and returns the sins for keeping. Shazam and Freddy decide this is their lair. Back at the foster home, everyone has returned to their original form and is watching a newscast of the park instance, with Santa Claus describing the event. The foster family all talk and laugh, and Billy finally feels happy and safe, accepting a family. At school, Freddy sits down for lunch and the entire table leaves, so all his siblings come and sit next to him. The bullies show up and ask if he's still friends with Red Cyclone. Shazam shows up and tells the school how Freddy showed him everything it means to be a hero and that he also brought another friend, Superman. Sometimes later, Thad is in a prison cell scribbling the symbols all over the wall in a failing effort to reopen the portal until he's interrupted by an alien caterpillar, Mr. Mind, who tells him of the pillars of evil that will come together. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe for more. Also have an amazing rest of the day. We will see you in the next one.